Come on. Alright, there we go. Alright, now we got her. For some reason, Ankbot wasn't playing nicely again with him.
Alright, I'm gonna just sit back quietly and watch.
Sounds like a plan.
You take me down, spin me around. You got me running all the lights. Don't make a sound. Talk to me now. Let me inside your mind. Don't know what you're thinking, sugar. Ooh, but I just got that feeling, sugar. Ooh, I can hear the sirens burning red lights turning. I can't turn back now. So hold on tight. I don't know where the lights are taking us.
Alrighty, let me get Ankbot situated here. Alrighty guys, welcome aboard. I think we should be up and going now. So let's see what happens here. Do a quick refresh. Always got some technical difficulties with OBS here, so hopefully we're streaming away. It says we're live, so hopefully all is well. Hope you guys enjoyed Dave's map making class. Poppy it is. It's definitely a good way to go. Alright, so what I'm going to do is we're going to start out the class. Last Friday we gave out a mod. I'm going to show you, it was the Dajnet, the Peterbilt 388. And what we're going to do is, some people are having a little problem with it. So what I'm going to do is show you guys how to fix it and what the problem is. So first thing I'm going to do is show you guys what the problem is. For those of you that don't know or haven't tried it. So I'll load up the game here. I already have the vehicle down at the place where it needs to be, so I can show you guys what's going on, and I can show you how to fix it. So hopefully if you have the problem on another vehicle, you'll be able to fix it on that one as well. Hopefully it's just as easy. If it's not, then we'll have to look at it a little bit closer. So we'll get her fired up here and go from there. Outdoors Traveler, thanks for the follow. Alright, so what I got here is, you guys, this truck looks familiar. This is the one that we had. Yeah, it throws me. Yeah, I do need more stuff on my desktop. That's after cleaning. That's the scary part. So what we got here is we had the Dajnet Peterbilt. That all you guys got if you hit exclamation point extras, and basically what happened here, as you see, it won't open the gate. So what my initial thought was had to do with a traffic collision box, which it doesn't. You can see that big orange, it's almost like a wedge that's vertical. So I thought that was the issue. It's not. So this is the issue we're having. You drive up to the gate, it doesn't open. Okay. So what I'm going to do is show you guys how I resolved fixing it. So go back to here. This is class 6A. Howdy, Grandpa. How's it going, buddy? Sorry about that flasher, guys. And if you're looking for the mods to work along as I talk, it's exclamation point class mod, and you'll get the mods that we'll be working on tonight or concentrating on tonight. We'll do some cool stuff tonight. It's been highly requested right after this one here. So what I'm doing is in 6A, I have that Peterbilt, and what I'll do is I'll pull it over here so you guys can see. And what I'm going to do is show you first what I did. I'm going to open Giants Editor here. Click on the main Peterbilt. Now it looks fine and dandy. I'm not going to move around because of the camera. It only has 2 cameras, so I don't want to mess with the cameras. I'll just leave it as is, because for this tutorial we don't have to move and look at the fanciness of the truck. Gator done did a great job. I know it looks good. I'm not worried about the color. I just want to get the darn thing to function. So what I did is highlight this and check out my shape and also the rigid body. Look at the collision mask. Okay, so I'm taking note And what I'm going to do next, I'll put that over here for now, is go to Program Files, Farming Simulator, Data, just for an example. I'm not doing anything to the files in here. What I'm going to do is reference something. What I'm looking for is how is this, it's similar, this man truck here. So what I'm going to do is open this man truck. Hey, Big Game 75, how's it going? So what I'm doing is I open this man truck here. Okay, same thing. I don't need to move around. What I'm looking for is compare notes. So let me see if I can show you guys how to do this. I'm sorry, I'm used to 2 screens, and this is how I got to function on 1 screen here. So what I'll do is blast this over here. Okay, so we're going to take notes. Transform group, it's going to be varying. The big thing that's different, if everybody notices, it says compound, collision correct, dynamic correct. This is different. The collision mask is FF. Now, what these numbers and letters mean, look, I have no clue. All I know is they're different. I know the man truck works, and I know this Peterbilt doesn't work with opening gates. So, what I did was, I highlight this, hit my control, or I'll show you guys on screen, copy, come over here, hit paste, and just make sure it took, okay? So I go, click out of there, click this again, go to rigid body, there it is. It's good to go. I'll hit save under Peterbilt. I'm done with the man truck for now. He's good to go. So he's history. And he's not responding. There we go. Okay, get out of there. There we go. I got so much stuff going on, and my computer is not a happy camper. Oh, I only have a few things open. So I'll save this, which I'm doing right now. Now, one more thing while I'm in here, I'm going to show you guys, after this gets back to responding, is I'm going to show you guys something. If your game is a little laggy after you insert this truck, what it can be is the vertices and the triangles. Now, how do I know that? Is when you click on this Peterbilt truck, right here it tells me the triangles, it's over 500,000. The vertices is over 500,000. That's a big issue. That's a lot of objects, and the worst part is it's moving now. And you get it moving really fast. So the problem with this is it's going to be a pretty heavy-duty truck. So if you have one on a map that's already has a lot of equipment on it, you might notice a performance hit if you're not running a decent computer. So this is just something to pay attention to when you get a mod, and if you want to modify it, is take a note of the triangles and the vertices. You know, I'll show you, like I said, I'll show you guys. It's up here in the upper left-hand corner. And this is tell me the numbers, and it's pretty high. Reasonable is, I'm going to say around 200,000, you know, give or take a little bit. But this is pretty crazy. And as you see, you can see all the little triangles. So it's a lot of lines to process. So I'm going to close this down. Now that I made my changes, what I'm going to do is go over here, go to my trusty class mod. You guys saw it didn't work before. All I'm going to do is click, and I'm going to drag it over to my Dagenet 388, copy replaced, and good to go. It takes a little while. It's a big file. Again, so all those triangles and vertices are a lot of information to process. So the next step is I'm going to load it up in game just to make sure it works. So the next thing I do is go here, and I'll be loading this up. Then once this game loads up, I will show you guys what's happening here. Okay, start. So again, I'm gonna hop in my trusty Peterbilt. I had it facing the other direction, so we'll just spin it around here. And now when we approach the gate, boom, she opens. So now it's good to go. As you guys notice, basically, long story short, I will show you the gist of it. On the front of the grille of the truck is the edge of the new collision mask that we just got done redefining. And here, as I get a little bit closer, you'll see, it's hard to see with the darn tree there, there is roughly a rectangle, or a cube, And you'll see as I get closer, all of a sudden it will trigger. Boom, there it goes. And that triggers it. So that corrects that problem. So if anybody out there is having trouble with this truck, basically triggering these items, this is how you fix it. And that's part 1 for tonight. So that's what we got there. So that's how you fix that piece of it, which is a fairly simple solution. At first I thought, like I said, it was something else. But in the end, it's just as simple as changing the collision mask. So what I'll do is I'll exit this game, and we'll go on to the second part of tonight's fun and adventure. So the second part is, there's going to be 2 parts. That's my screen flickers. If you downloaded the class mod, here's the files. Basically, I gave a reference to the link for the truck, just because it's a newer truck. You know, I use it as an example. You know, just understand that there is a few things that are wrong with it. I corrected in my version, just because I'm a little crazy like that. I like to have a really nice operating truck. So the next part of our truck is going to show you guys how to add ad strips. There's been a lot of things out there about adding items. So the most important thing is actually creating the ad strip. So what I'll do is, in that file I sent you guys, is the ad strip file, the i3D. And if you zoom in, there's my logo. Okay, which is fine. You see it. It works. It's nothing fancy. I don't need, you know, Ford, Chevy. I'll just use my logo for an example. So it's in the i3D. Okay, because that's how we're going to get that graphic file into the truck. The important part of it is, basically, in this i3D, if I open it with Notepad++, this is just like any other i3D file. It needs material references, file references, etc. So where it gets that information from is right here, just like a vehicle. It gives me a file ID and the file name. So in this case, it's referring to adstrip.dds. The materials default, which is fine, we don't touch, and the ad strip, basically material specifies, and the texture file ID, which is referenced up to here for the file ID. So the file ID is equal to the texture ID down here when it's specified. This is telling my vertices count, triangle count, etc. So it's really tiny, but it's very helpful when adding decals to a truck. What I'm going to do is show you guys how to add 2 different decals here. We're going to add the Big Daddy Backyard, and we're going to add the Pleasant Valley DOT. Some of you guys remember this back in 13. We had it on our service trucks. Also included in the ad strip folder, I'll just pop this up quick to show you guys, is a quick installation guide. Now it's very helpful. This will walk you through the process, exactly what I'm telling you guys, how to get it into the game. The only difference that I found is in here it references, this is from 2011 I believe. What this references is PNG files. And what I'm going to be using is DDS files. So I did make a note in that instruction manual, is this is no longer a PNG file, this is now a DDS file. And there's a couple different types of DDS files that I'll cover with you guys in case you want a different appearance. But mostly if you do text, a symbol, you know, a graphic symbol, etc. This will walk you through how to add it into your vehicle. Basically what I'm covering tonight. It's just basically if you need something to read, step along the way to go, this will be the way to go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys, this is a really nice truck in my opinion. Again, needs a little help, but for this purposes I'm not going to be using it on my farm. I'm just using it to basically show you how to ad strip, and I'm also going to show you how to change the color in this guy, because there's no such thing as a typical graphics file. Each one is done a little bit differently, but at least this one I can show you guys of how it can go along. Yeah, Throsby, yeah, I got you. That book, yeah, I heard good, bad things about it. Like I said, it's one of those things where I'm sure if I just did a Google search, it'd tell me what the difference was. But for my purpose, I just compare. Most of the time, I compare what works, what doesn't work, and compare what's different. You know, I always have that mentality of comparing things that work that don't work, and it works out most of the time. You know, there is the occasion. So what I got here is this nice Kenworth W900 day cab. Again, I did not do the mod. 0 credit for the mod. It's just happened to be our guinea pig to slap some nice looking decals on it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is basically show you guys how to add ad strip. So we're going to go to File, we're going to go to Import, and then I'll go to Ad Strip, and what I'll do is click on AdStrip.i3d. Okay, it is in. So what I'm going to do next is find this file, which is right here. And in case you're ever wondering where something is at, what I'm going to do is make sure it's highlighted over here and click F. Basically, it's called Focus, which I did learn from the handbook. And there's my logo. Okay. So we notice one thing that's wrong right away, which I'm going to fix, is I'm going to bring the ad strip up underneath the main transform group of the truck. So that way when the truck moves, it goes with it. It's associated with it. Right now it's not. It's outside of it. So what I'm going to do is I'll hit Edit. I'll hit Cut. Go up to my Kenworth W900L. Hit Edit and Paste. Okay, now it's in the same transform group. So when I close this, it's still underneath the W900L, which is what I want. Now the next thing I need to do is position this and where I want to put it. Basically, it comes down to now it's placing it where you like. It's all up to you. What I'm going to do is rotate this 180. In this particular instance, I'm going to do something a little fancier, something I haven't done before. Placing a graphic. Normally it's on the body somewhere. What I'm going to do is I'm going to place it on this back window. I think that looked pretty cool. So what I'll do is I'll just get it ballpark-ish, as I like to say. And you know, it doesn't have to be perfect. This is just to show you guys how to get those ad strips in. And then the next key thing is I need it a little bit away from the window. That's a little bit too far currently. So what I'm going to do is just get her close. That's pretty darn good right there. Okay. So there's my logo in the back window. I think it looks pretty cool. Okay. So what I want to show you guys is now that that's done, this thing I'm going to do is I always am nitpicky about that. Let's close that up. I'm going to click on Save. Okay. Close this out. I'm going to zip this all up. There it is right here. So what I'll do is I'll copy this into here and then basically delete out all these files. You know, I apologize. I'm sure it's redundant that I go through and do this every time. It's just the way I know. As opposed to memorizing every change I made, this guarantees that all the changes I made will be updated in there. So once I got that, what I'm going to do is hit copy. Copy it in my class mods test folder, paste. I did have one in there. I'm going to overwrite it. Okay. I'm going to open up Farming Sim. My test game, and always try to have a test game where with very minimal equipment or not much in it at all. That way it's easier to see if there's any errors and how to pinpoint it. There will be an error right now, I can tell you guys, but I did it on purpose because I want to show you one more thing I need to do, and that's the thing that I think about. There's one other item I need to do, and I'll show you. It should pop up an error. I'm hoping it does. I didn't do it right, I'll be honest with you. There's one little step I skipped. And there it is, which is good. Again, hit the tilde key next to the 1, and here's tell me it says it can't load resource, which is great. It tells me it can't load the ad strip. Okay. And as a game was loading up, I figured as much. So what I'll do is I'll quit, go back over here, and what I'm going to do is just create a folder. Just create a folder called ad strips. There we go. Then what I'll do is I'll just copy this. Didn't need to create the folder because I'll just copy it over. So, whoops. There we go. Get rid of my shortcut here. Okay, so we have a folder called ad strip, and then my ad strip are in here. I will edit this with Notepad. And the file that we're having trouble with is right here. Now it has .adstrip.dds. So what I need to do is do it this way. Get rid of the dots. and it'll be looking for it in ad strip, and the name of the ad strip.dds is where it'll be looking for that graphic file. So now we'll be good to go. Again, I almost made the mistake I was telling you guys I was going to do, which is you got to make sure to copy everything over. And there are a lot of thumbnail files in there. So next thing I do is click and drag. It'll compress it up. Copy. Go over here, we'll paste it in. And that's good to go. Now what I'll do is I'll fire it up one more time just to make sure it's good to go. And this time it should be error-free. Should be is a key word. And that way we just got done adding a graphic to our back window. And then and my next step, once we get past here, is I'll show you how to add one more graphic so you could have multiple ad strips. So I'll go to my store, Kenworth. Okay, I bought the truck just to show you guys. Air's gone, and now I can find my resource, which is good. So, and I'll click on the truck, and there it is. Just to show you guys, there's the logo in the back window. It's off a little bit, but you get the idea. It takes some tinkering, as I like the technical word tinkering, to get that just right. But you get the idea. So that's adding a logo to the back of this Kenworth here. So that's step one, and the next step is we're going to add another ad strip. So we'll have multi ad strips. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll leave that over here for now. Go into here. Now, as we know, this file, this ad strip, is referencing this file name. Now, unfortunately, each ad strip you add in needs to be a little different. So what I'll do, just for technicality purposes, I'll make a copy, and I'll rename this ad strip 1. Okay? And I'll edit this so that my ad strip will now point to pvdot.dds. How I do that? Just highlight the file, right click, hit edit. And let me see here, right here. The file name is adstrip.dds, and mine will be pvdot, all caps. That'll be the second one I add. Okay, I will close these all out for now. Then what I'll do is I'll double click on here. I will open this in Giants Editor just to verify. I'll highlight this, hit F to focus on the item, and there it is. Now, as you may notice, as I did earlier today, you'll notice that this is a rectangle. I got a circle, so it's technically, you know, it's a square shape is what I need to end up being. You can't make circles in i3ds, so what we do is make this square. It's kind of stretched on left to right. So what I need to do is change the value, I believe, of that. There we go. We now have a square. Okay? Square, circle, as opposed to an oval. So I'll save that. I'm going to show you guys what happened, what caused that. The original ad strip, as you notice, I can show you at the bottom of the screen here where it says I know for a fact it's a rectangle because it tells me the dimensions of 512 by 256. So I know it's a rectangle. So the original ad strip is a rectangle. So when I created the new one, this one is coming in at 256 by 256 or a square. So one other thing I want to do to this, be honest with you, it's a big white blob. So what I want to do is I actually want to edit this a little bit. So I hope you guys don't mind. I want to take a few minutes here, and I'm just going to edit this in paint.net, because what I want to do is actually slap it on. Oh, it looks good. Okay, so it already is edited. That's my bad. The reason it shows that way is I need to save it as, well, I'll show you guys. Tell you what, let's let it be. Notice, there we go, open this up, open this back up. I'll jump into the ad strip, focus. Okay, good to go. So you notice that there is no white around here, which is good. So if you wanted white, I believe I just changed this You can go back in, and if you wanted to, you could drop in white, but I also believe it save it as it would be a different DXT file. Let me hold off on that for a little bit. Let me take one step at a time. So I'll go back over here, open this up. I'm going to slap this guy on the side so we have a cool Pleasant Valley DOT logo. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I plan on putting it right on this door. So what I'll do is File, Import, and go back to Class B, under my truck, add strip 1. There it is. Okay, I'll bring this in. It's way up there. Again, outside the main transform group. Do Control X or hit Edit Cut. I'll go up here, hit Edit Paste. Okay. And what I need to do is rotate that 90. I don't know why. There it is. Way out yonder. Come over here to the side of the truck. Okay. And there you can see it's a square. Each side is the same length. So that way it'll look nice. If I left it the other way, it's like an oval, so it look kind of weird. But what I'll do is I'll get this close. Again, you know, you get too close, you'll have flashing. You know, it'll flash like crazy. You know, and what I'm going to do is also rotate it just a smidge. Basically, it just comes down to tweaking this thing just a little bit. One other thing I want to do is actually want to scale it up. So, because for me to get this to be a square, I need to do the x of 0.5 and the y of 1. I'm just going to double this. Now, you don't touch the z because z adds depth. So it'll make it deeper, which there's nothing to it. It's a flat graphic. So in this case, I'm going to do 1, and I'll make this 2. And there we have a nice big Pleasant Valley DOT logo. Okay. And that should, there we go, off just a little bit. Good. Like I said, it doesn't need to be perfect. I want to pull it away just a little smidge more. There we go. So that's what it'll look like going down the road. That's adding our second ad strip in. And again, we can add more in. We can add another ad strip in, and flip it on the other side. But this will work for now. This is the good examples. So you have one in the back. We still have that logo, as well as the PV DOT logo right here on the side. So what I'll do is I'll save this. And what I'm going to do this time around, as opposed to opening it in the game first, is I'm actually going to go here. I'm going to hit Edit. And we'll see down here and make sure that is referenced correctly, which it already is. Yay us. And that's because we created that file in the proper folder already. So the folder is already inside. Let me show you here what I'm talking about. So the folder ad strip, where it was created, is already in where it needs to be. So if you create your ad strips in the folder with the mod and all the associated files, it'll link it correctly. The only time it doesn't is when I brought it over from the ad strip folder outside of the mod folder. I know it was a little confusing there, but if you just create all your ad strips inside the mod folder, you'll be good to go. Thorsby, I'm glad to hear, man. I'm glad this is something that's going to be useful. And like I said, if I miss something, I apologize. I'm trying to capture everything here. There's just so much you can do with it. And the key with ad strips as well, your graphic, make sure they're equal. Now, what do I mean by that? For this instance, make sure that the height is equal to the width or 2 times the value. For instance, in this case, the width is double the height. So we're 512 by 256. Get her done. I believe I can. I will try doing that, but I think it should work. Let me double check here. That's a good question. And then for this instance, we have 256 by 256, so it's equal. So if you ever get a graphic size that the equal to with like a top hat N are not equal, that means that one of these numbers are, for instance, like 500 by 256, or 512 by 200. That means they're not equal proportioned, and they're not going to appear correctly as well. So what get her done question was, is if I can duplicate the image on the other side, I'll try that right now and see how it goes. I should be able to. So here's this. I will hit Control D. I know you guys can't see it. I apologize. I'm not sure. It's up here. Yep, there we go. I'll click on that to show you how I do that. There's Control D, and what it does is it creates it right below the last ad strip. Then what I'll do is I'll swing it over to this side. Now you're not going to see the graphic from the back side, just to let you guys know, so don't get scared. There's nothing wrong with that. So I'll do is I'll rotate it minus 90, and there it is. Okay. In actuality, what I could have done as well is just add a negative value to the other side. So what I'll do is just get her close. This is just an example purposes, so if it's off a little bit, you guys understand. Yeah, see, this side needs to actually be a little bit smaller. It has like a porthole here, which is not a biggie deal. I can scale this down proportionally, so if I do 0.75, I do 1.5, I'm holding the same values, but you get the idea here. So that way, I can change this whatever size it needs to be. And there's that. And then what I'll do is I'll squirm it away just a little bit, and I'll rotate it back. This is me being a little crazy, I get it, but you want it as close as possible, but it can't be right on top of it because of the fact it'll flash. I'm sure everybody came across things that flashed. In one of our previews of the maps when I did the train cars, it flashed, and I apologize for that. It's just a trial and error thing, and it's a little bit tougher to do with the trains because you have to load up the map so many times, but you get the hang of it. So to answer your question, get her done, yes, you were able to do that as well. Let me see here. I will save this. Alright, so okay, we're good to go. We have the logo on either side. I will save this up. Okay, there we go. So now what I'll do, like I always do, and like I said, guys, I'm probably redundant in doing this, and I apologize, but this is the easiest way, and I feel comfortable grabbing everything. There's times where if I did it a file at a time, for instance, if I did it this, I'll forget to grab the add strips folder, or I'll forget to grab the textures folder. This is a fail-safe, and it doesn't hurt a thing. All it's doing is making sure you have the files in there. Okay, copy back into my test folder. I'm gonna fire up my game here, and just to make sure that they come in. While I'm firing up the game, put an exclamation point, beer money, space, and then a value, and we're going to see how we make out tonight. See if we get some beer to the party. In the meantime here, while this loads up Bjornholm, my lovely test map, like I said, it's just, I always use the standard maps to load up. It'll load up faster if you use a single size as opposed to a larger map. So let's see here. And there's a Kenworth. And as you guys see, there's my Pleasant Valley DOT truck. This side and this side. So that is good to go. I think it looks okay. Like I said, it was a quick job. It's not going to look the greatest. There's some things I do differently as far as tweaking, but I think it's pretty darn good for now. So what I do is we're going to call that a wrap for now. So we're done with the Kenworth. We're happy with the logos. Now the next thing I don't like, it's a pretty cool looking blue. I give them that. But I don't like blue. So we're going to change the color and I'm going to show you guys how to do it. So I'm hoping this is you guys will enjoy this next step as well. It's usually fairly easy, but again, each file varies of how to do it. So what I'm going to do is I will open this with Notepad++. and I want to verify. See, just by going into the file, I become so accustomed just to knowing what the body, how it's laid out, what each item will be. You know, the truck is so blue, so I know there's items in here that are automatically attached to the truck. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that. As I'll go back to here, I'm going to open this in Giants Editor. And then I will view my work camera, so that way I'm not moving around any of my external cameras. Main thing I need to adjust first is the texture in this. Again, Giants Editor, click on Shapes. Here it's called Frame Body Basic, and you don't have to memorize the whole thing. Just right click, hit copy. Okay, so that's our first one. And what we'll do with that open, I'm gonna do a search, do a find. I will do a find on and do a paste. And what this will tell me is that right here is Frame Body Basic, and finds the file. Now, my next item to find is the texture file it's relating to. So in this case, it's Coin 6. So what I'll do is I'll scroll up to the top, see file ID 6. It's referring to Black DDS. Well, if my memory serves me correctly. Oh, this is 6. I got so many files open here. Here's the truck. They're calling it black.dds, which is okay. I see that. It might be a part in there that's black, but you know, we can verify they're calling this whole piece as black.dds. I really don't agree with that, but we'll go with it for now. So that's just one part of it. We'll find next. Okay, so it's number 6 and number 4. I'm hoping this is the one it's referenced to, which is Body Paint 2, exactly the one that we're talking about. So this is the guy here. That's the one at main truck part. As far as the black, it's kind of finicky. I'm curious if it's an extra file in there. But let me see here. There is. It's called the cab mesh. Okay. So first thing I want to do, we'll see how it goes. We'll change one at a time. We will start with the body.paint 2. We're going to open this with paint.net. Okay, and you see the colors here. So here's their pinstriping. This is blue. Okay, so what I'm going to do is we'll start with a main color. This is going to be done in steps. I know which colors need to change, but to help you guys learn what to look for and what changes and what won't change, I'm going to leave it the way it is and do it step by step as though I'm doing it for the first time. So I know this is blue. Okay, so there's that. Okay, now this is just a rough part. You can, if you wanted to, zoom in. I don't want to be here all night with you guys, but if I was doing this for positively for the final results, I'd be a little more finicky about doing this. But you guys see what it's doing here. I adjusted tolerance. What tolerance is basically telling it how critical to be as far as the color tones. So in this point, I have that lovely blue, not how you classify the blue color, but that's what it is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change it to this cool looking orange. I think I dig it. So what I'm going to do is find my trusty paint bale. With these items selected, what I used was the magic wand. Okay, to show you guys again, magic wand. And there it is. It grabs the majority of the truck. Again, it grabs some extra items, but how to remove those extra items, I will show you as well quick. Is basically hold down the left Alt key and you can select in there and it'll get rid of it all. But what it'll do is, for instance, you can select with just clicking and you can remove an item. For instance, if there's something extra in here, which it looks like it selects it pretty well, is you can hit the Alt key to subtract. You can hit the left Control key to add. You see how it added that? So if I want to get rid of it, I hit the minus key, which is the left Alt plus a click. So that's just a quick tutorial rundown on how to get rid of that. So what I'm going to do, show you guys, we now have the body color highlighted. I want to change it to this orange, so bam. Okay. So there's our orange. And again, I went over a little bit here, and if I was doing this for the final results, I would remove that whole area. But for now, just so we get done in a decent time, I will leave that be. There might be a little bit of blue highlight, so what I'll do is I'll go back just one more time. Now let's crank this up just a little bit, and I'll dump it one more time. Okay. And there's that. So I'll hit save. I'll save it as DXT1, and I'll close out. And this is unfortunately how you test 99% of the time when it comes to changing textures, which is this. Okay, so let's see how we made out. Oh, looks like we got the cab pretty darn good. There's some little tweaks here and there, but for the most part, it doesn't look too shabby. Now we notice that we have in the window frame here, there's some blue, as well as the frame back here, and the fifth wheel are still blue. So let me get the rest of the colors here, and we'll change those out. I don't need to save, because what I'm going to do is go back into my textures. Alright, and he was nice enough to label the fifth wheel as fifth wheel, which is cool. So what I'm going to do is go in here and see, first thing I'm going to do is go back in this file, see if there's any more blue, which, ironically, there is still a little bit of blue left around the outline, but what I'll do is do this. I will find my trusty color, my paint bucket, and boom. So there is that. Correct, yeah, tolerance is a flashing edge line, correct, yes. So basically, long story short, if I do this again, you see how it's the edge line, I'll adjust the tolerance, watch. I go down to 0, and it doesn't go into the lines as much, and if I go higher, it grabs the whole, let me back out so I can show you, it'll grab pretty much the whole file. So if you go 0, or if you go all the way up to 100, somewhere in between, in case there's lines that overlap, it'll pick it up. So that's what we'll do there. That's the key to this guy. Now, probably, honestly, I could have probably done the tolerance of 0 prior, and it'd probably been just fine. So that's the ticket there. You can adjust again, adjust as needed. It might overlap a little bit, as you guys are seeing, but that's the key value. And again, in here, I changed this little square to orange. I'm going to click on save. Save as my DXT1, saving, go out. And it's just a rinse repeat process. So let's see what that changed this time. So what that changed this time were the mud flaps holders. They are now orange, okay? And then what we need to do, and also changed our windowsills. See how our windowsills were blue before? They're now orange. So we're getting there. It kind of looks like the old creamsicle pop you used to get at the the grocery store for like 25 cents back in the day. So, okay. So the next item we're going to go to is the frame. So the way I want to, if you have a custom color, here's what I would recommend. I don't have a custom color, but I will show you how to get it in case you selected a fancy color out in here somewhere and you're not sure of which values you have for there. All you got to do, hit this little eyedropper and click on there. It now has it as a primary color. The next thing I need to do, what I normally do, is just leave this open, and I'll click on the frame.dds file. Okay, and then all I gotta do is use my trusty paint bucket and dump it. So now this should be orange, as well as that file. And again, to show you guys, I apologize if I'm skipping around here. It's just I did this one a couple times already. The way I know the color is correct is I would open this file in Giants Editor. And there you see it's changed to orange because I already did it. But to find out which texture was on here is right here. Is tell me, again, highlight, copy. Then what we do is open this in Notepad++, search, find, right click, paste, find. And there it is. Right here. It's texture file ID number 2. So I'll go up to the top here. My file ID number 2, frame.dds. So I apologize for skipping around a little bit, but this is how we get there. This is how I know it's a part. The reason I know, again, that it's a unique looking blue, so I know it's associated to it, to one of the items I haven't changed thus far, which is the frame. So I open back up. And it looks like we have one item left to color. Everything else looks orange or chrome. It's looking really cool. I dig this color, especially for a DOT truck. You know, they're usually really bright trucks. So the last item we need to do is this fifth wheel. So what I'll do is I'm going to do it the right way this time. I will click on the object, and it's listed as material. And this one's listed as material as well. Okay. So we'll work with it. I'll hit copy. Now the problem, if you guys know i3Ds as crazy as I do, unfortunately, you'll know there's one problem with that. And the problem is, what's wrong with naming it material? If you try to do a search and find on material, what's going to be the problem? Look at the results. This is crazy. Thank goodness it's right down here. I mean, another way to do it, honestly, if you're in a bind like that where they named it material, what you could do is go up to search, and for instance, I'll show you. You can just grab this as an example, hit copy, do a search, find, and then it'll say material name default. Now what you can do is do this, is type in the name of the material you're looking for. So guess what? In this instance, it's material. So you can do material name equals material. And there it is right there. So we knew that because it was on the first page. But in case you're in a bind where if you named it file ID, if you named it file, if you named it material, materials, etc., something where it's, you know, defining an item that's already going to be very repetitive in the file, this is another way to do it. This will help you find that file. So we have material. So we know up here is texture file ID 18. Go up to the top, textures, and it's fifth wheel. Okay? So that's how we're going to know that. I'll go to my textures. I will find my fifth wheel. And I'll open it up. Okay? I don't know about you guys, but I don't think, in my honest opinion, I don't think this should be orange. I'm thinking a fifth wheel, in my opinion, should be more of a, let's do a light gray for now, just for giggles. We'll hit OK. Okay. So now that we changed our fifth wheel, there's still this white diffuse in here, which I'm not sure. One way to find out is I'll do copy, and I'll see if he's even referenced in the i3D file. And there it is. It's for the Corona. Okay, that's fine. All he did was he tinted the light a little bit. Not a biggie. So I'll leave that be. It's not going to hurt anything. What I'll do is I'm going to double check. I already have it. Oh, I didn't have it open. Okay. So click on that. We'll open this up. And boom. We have an orange sickle Pleasant Valley DOT machine. I think the fifth wheel looks much better that way. I don't know about you guys, but man, it was too much of one color. It was overwhelming, and it's helped breaks up the monotony of it all. So this should be good to go to roll in game. So let me exit out, and everybody knows the next step that I always do. Delete the zip file information that's in there. I'm going to highlight it all, not select my zip, click, drag, copy. It's going to zip up all that information. I'm going to copy this to my trusty class mod test folder. And it's in there. Next thing we do is we'll load it up in game and see how our orange creamsicle truck looks. Just a reminder, guys, this Friday we'll be doing another preview of Pleasant Valley 2.0, and as well as Dave's map making class. The map making class will be at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and our preview will be at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, barring any problems, which we should be good to go, but you just never know. Okay, so let's check out our log file by hitting the tilde key. It's clean. Good. I didn't forget any texture files. And let's see what we got here. Hit the I key. Select my truck. There's my orange creamsicle Pleasant Valley truck. And it looks kind of cool. I kind of like it. And like I said, if you guys are interested in this mod, it's in the link. If you do ! class mod, it will pull it up and is on ModHub. It needs, like I said, a little TLC. Not that bad though. He did a really nice job on it. And this is what our truck is looking like. So it looks pretty sweet. As far as that goes, everything seems to function pretty good on this truck as well. Blinkers, all that good jazz, horn, and you know, that's just a basic show you guys how to redo the textures on this particular mod. Each one will vary a little bit, but it'll give you guys the basic idea. So that about wraps it up for me tonight. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If there's any questions or comments, feel free to shoot me a message, either on here, on the forums, or on Facebook. And I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. Been crazy around this parts, but so I think that about wraps it up. I'll stick around for a little bit to see if anybody has any questions. And you know, I think that about does it. Again, join us Friday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Dave's map making class. Then 9 p.m. for a preview of Pleasant Valley 2.0. Hope you guys enjoyed the class, and we'll